All right, let's jump right into a topic that's a huge deal for anyone working with AI on long engineering tasks. We're going to talk about what happens when the job you thought you were doing completely changes halfway through.
Okay, so this quote right here, it absolutely nails the problem. An engineer kicks off a session to fix one little thing. But you know how it goes. As they start digging, they uncover something totally different, and suddenly the whole focus shifts. Now, this is just a normal Tuesday for a developer, but for an AI agent, this can be a total disaster. And that really gets to the heart of it. Real-world engineering is never, ever a straight line. It's messy. It's all about discovery and, yeah, changing your mind. A task might start out as a simple investigation, but that can quickly turn into fixing a totally separate issue, which then leads to updating documentation. The work is always a moving target.
So think about it like this. The initial context you give an AI, all the files, the dependencies, the task itself, that's basically its map for the journey. It tells the agent where to go. But what happens if you change the destination halfway through the flight? Suddenly, that original map isn't just a little outdated. It's pointing in the completely wrong direction.
And this is where we run into the massive problem of stale context. It's this buildup of old, irrelevant information. It's that moment when the agent's map just doesn't match the reality of the work anymore. And that's when things start to go wrong.
And yeah, there's a name for it, stale context. It's this critical disconnect where your AI is like chugging along, working on task A, but you, the human, pivoted to task C 20 minutes ago. The agent is literally anchored to the past, and it's working with bad intel.
And listen, this is not some theoretical thing. In a real session, you might start by just reviewing some scan behavior. But then, boom, you discover the real problem is friction with a helper agent. Just look at how different those two tasks are. The context, the files, everything you needed for that first task, it's pretty much useless for the new one.
So why is this such a big deal? Well, it's a domino effect, right? Stale context means the agent starts making bad assumptions. It completely misses the new files it needs. It wastes a ton of time and your tokens, chewing on code that doesn't even matter anymore. This is exactly what causes an agent to drift off course and end up giving you work that's just wrong.
So the big question is, how do we fix this? How do we give our AI a brand new, updated map every time the destination changes? Well, the answer isn't complicated. It's about having a dynamic approach, one that refreshes the context as the work itself changes.
And check this out. The process is actually super simple and intuitive. The agent starts with its first map, its first set of instructions. Then, as the engineer's focus shifts, they signal that change just by starting a new, meaningful command. The system sees that as a pivot point and bam, it automatically generates a fresh context bundle. The agent gets realigned with what's actually happening now.
Now this is the really clever part. The system is smart. It knows that a real command, a real new task, is a signal to refresh its map. But it's also smart enough to ignore all the conversational fluff like, yep, sounds good, or yes, please. It can tell the difference between a real change in direction and just chatter. This keeps the context sharp and avoids unnecessary noise.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second. If you're leading a team or managing a big project, why is this dynamic context idea so incredibly important? Why should you care?
Look, for any manager, this is really about reliability and, frankly, risk management. It massively cuts down on the chances of an AI agent just wandering off into the weeds on a complex task. It makes sure the AI's effort is always focused on what matters today, not what mattered yesterday. And what you get from that is trust. It's the confidence of knowing that your AI is working on the right problem right now.
So that leaves us with a really important question you should be asking yourself. Think about your own workflows. When your engineers pivot, when a new discovery changes everything, does your AI pivot with them? Or is it stuck in the past, operating on an old map, slowly drifting further and further off course? Because in the end, it all boils down to this one simple idea. An effective AI partnership isn't about having a perfect plan from the very beginning. It's about having a plan that can change in real time. Your AI's context has to follow the work. Because in engineering, the work always moves.